welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Now today I'm going to be making something that is going to be the start of a bit of a series. Certainly there's going to be a set of related videos because I had this idea of making a project for each month of the year. Now I am not, as I said in a previous video, setting out to actually do one every month this year, and I'm going to finish it this year. I'm going to see how it goes, see how inspiration strikes me, and I'm actually aiming to have done maybe 4 or 5 by the end of this year. If I get more than that done, it's brilliant, but if I don't, I don't. I am referring to these glass baubles. Now these are sold normally around about Christmas time. And that one's got glitter in and I don't know why. For you to put your own little decoration in and hang them on your Christmas tree. But it's just a glass bauble, whatever you want to call it. So why not do something that can be year round? I've got a lot of these because I picked them up a good number of years ago, cheap in the sale. So I thought, yeah, I can do this. And I was inspired by this piece. Now this is the same kind of idea, but it's an egg. And obviously it was sold for Easter. And I decided to make it into a little signs of spring. And I've got my little bird bath, and I've got a blackbird perched on the edge of it because blackbirds are always in the water, at least in my garden. And then I made my own little daffodils. And I love this. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm going to try and do one for each month of the year. Now, as of yet, I've not actually come up with a theme for every month of the year. So I thought we'll start with the seasons because seasonality will quite easily give me 4 months. And I've got a few others that I have sort of penciled in and I'm still working on the rest. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take one of the baubles like this, and we're going to turn it into something that is winter themed. So let's get on with it. Now, I had an idea. I was going to do something similar to the spring scene because I've got a robin somewhere. I bought a 1/12 scale robin from a Doll's House show almost 6 years ago now. And I've seen it, but can I find it? No, I can't. So what I've decided is, okay, it's winter. We'll do something quintessentially winter themed. So I have begun with my bauble and I've added some air drying clay to the bottom. Now, I actually added this several days ago because I wanted it to have a chance to dry before I started working on it. So I've actually got 2 of them on my desk at the moment. But what I've done is I shaped out vaguely to the shape and then I have moved it. Now, it may or may not come loose. I don't know. Sometimes if it hasn't properly dried, and this has had 2 days to dry so far, it will move, but it's not moving yet, so all's good. If it does move, I'll just put some glue underneath it. I will shift it, put some glue underneath and stick it back down. I've done it before. So obviously we've got this. This is going to be the basis for some snow and ice because we might as well go for quintessentially wintry weather, not the wet and windy that we are having currently in the UK. But can't control the weather, can we? Now, in addition to that, I've started making a snowman. Now, again, I did this a couple of days ago, and I basically made 2 balls of air dry clay, stuck them together and left them to dry. Now, they didn't stick together because I didn't really mould them together. So I've actually glued the head onto the body. And I think that once I put it in here, is going to make a good sized snowman. We don't want it too big, but we don't want it too small either. And I've got some other little bits that I've made that I'm going to put on the snowman once he's covered in some snow texture material. That is going to be my next step, is using some of that, and I think putting a bit of ice into the base of the bauble. I'm going to paint part of this a light grey colour, I think, and then I'm going to put some ice over the top, because ice is never quite white. I'm going to use some UV resin to do that. I've sort of figured out where the snowman's got to go and where I can put almost like a puddle of ice. I don't want it to be a pool as such. And then I'm going to put some snow in here as well. So that's going to be my next steps. Going to have a bit of drying time, obviously. And I'm going to go and get on with that. Now, I am going to say it. When I started on this project, I thought it was going to be something fairly quick. I was wrong. I have suffered a lot all the way along through prolonged drying times. And yeah, we're into another month. It was supposed to be a January project. I really wanted to get this up for the end of January. Obviously, it hasn't happened. It's going to be going up early February, but better late than never. Anyway, I have done the rest of my base work. I added the UV resin. I painted a small area with some very light grey paint just to brighten it up, and then I put UV resin over the top to make ice. Now that took forever to dry. What I normally do is I give it its first dry with my light, and then I stick it in the window and I let the sun make sure it's completely cured. At better times of the year, that can just take a couple of hours. It took a couple of days this time, which was annoying because obviously I wanted to get on with it. Once it had set mostly, I coated the rest of the air dry clay with glue, just white school glue as we call it. It's PVA glue. And I added the snow scatter. Great. That then took quite a while to dry also. Now, what also happened was, because my UV resin was still slightly sticky, a small amount of the snow scatter caught into that, and I think actually it has worked for the best, because it has given it more of an icy effect than a water effect. Because ice is never, well, unless you're talking about an ice rink, it's never clear, smooth, etc. So I'm quite pleased with that. It's just taken quite a while. Moving on from that, I've worked on my snowman. Now, my snowman, again, air dry clay that had to be covered in the snow scatter. It gives it more texture. I could have just left him, but I think that this gives it the texture, makes it look a bit more realistic. And then I've added the face. The face details aren't brilliant. The carrot's possibly a little bit big. The coal, I don't know. Maybe it needed to be pushed in, but I couldn't do it any other way because of putting the snow scatter on. Anyway, he's ready now to be glued into the bauble. and I've got some glue, and I'm just going to put some glue on his base. Now I left the base pretty flat on purpose to make him fit. Now I've already tried to do this once and the battery in my microphone had gone flat. So I put him in, thought, yay, I've done that bit, I can get on with the next bit, and the microphone was dead. So I got a nice bit of footage and no sound. Now I'm not going to tip him up because he's not actually going to be secured as of yet, but as it stands, this is incredibly white. It's wintry, it's what happens. But I'm going to add a little bit of greenery. Now I did think about doing snowdrops, which are the earliest of the flowers. They're classed as a spring bulb, but they're a winter plant really. Certainly in the UK, but again they're white, hence snowdrops. So I think all I'm going to do is I'm going to do some little bit of plant using some green paper, just so it looks like there's some shoots starting to come up. Something alongside him at the back and something at the front here, so that it just looks like it might be winter, but not everything is dead. At least that's what I'm hoping. So I'm going to let him stick in place and I'll be back shortly. I went ahead and I created the green bits that I want to put in here, and they're currently on here. Now what I did is I just coloured some ordinary paper with an alcohol marker, and then I cut off just little slithers basically, and I stuck them together, and then I made them into little stumps. I don't know quite how you'd describe them. What I did is I put a blob of glue onto this plastic lid and I stuck them into it. Now I had to wait till the glue was tacky rather than wet, which is important. You do need a tacky glue so it would actually stand in it. Waited until that dried, then I used a little bit more glue so that I could cover the glue with a bit of snow, so it will hopefully blend in a bit better. And I also, hopefully you can see this, I also put a smattering of light grey paint. This is Storm Cloud. This is what I used earlier for under the ice, and I just used that to give it a sort of frosty look. I didn't want to put snow on it because I thought that might be too heavy, because although the powder is quite fine, these are very small bits of paper. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these, I'm going to clear off any extra bits of glue. Now the extra bits of glue are because I gave it a quick finishing coat, as I have done on the snowman and the base, of water and glue mix. It's 50-50 white glue and water that I use, with just a drop of soap in it, liquid soap. Washing up liquid, dishwashing detergent is brilliant for this. It just allows them to mix better. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue on the bottom. I'm going to very carefully get hold of these by the sort of base of my green bits, and I'm going to go and I'm just going to plop that down. There is no less vague description, and I will have some greenery inside the bauble. Now I'm going to carry on and do these as well, but I just want to show you why I like using these plastic lids. I've done it on like a silicone mat before now, but this is even better because I can turn this over and I can see underneath whether this is ready. Now this glue goes on white. You can see this from the bits that have come off my toothpick. There, it dries clear. When it's dried, it's ready to go. Now this looks white, but that's because of the snow that I've put over the top. And it doesn't take all that long to dry. This took a couple of hours. Well, I've left it a couple of hours to dry off completely. It was still slightly wet, a bit like that one on there, when I put the snow on the top, but it just gives you that little bit of reassurance that you're okay. And I also like using these because what I can do is, once the glue has dried, I can peel it off, whether that be something like this that I've made or the leftover glue on my glue tray. I was using pieces of cardboard, the bigger offcuts from using cereal boxes, you know, the tabs at the top and bottom. But I find this is actually far better because I can reuse these any number of times. And you may be able to gather what kind of potato-ish snacks these come from. These are actually off-brand, they're not the name brand, but same idea. They're great for this kind of thing. I finished sticking the green bits in, and I thought it still needs something. My snowman needs a hat, and I have given him a hat. Now I've knitted him a hat that is the tiniest little hat I have ever tried to knit. Then I couldn't find a needle big enough to stitch it up, because obviously using yarn you need a needle that's a good size. So I had to make my own out of a bit of wire. So we won't look at the back. Well, I'll show you the back. It's a bit messy. One of the knots has ended up outside instead of stitched inside, but I don't care. My little snowman has now got a multicoloured hat. And yeah, I think I'm going to call him done. Now I do want to replace this silver thread. Now I much prefer, take you back to the egg that I had at the beginning, that's got actual twine on it. When I find my twine, I'm going to use it to make a new hanging loop, but for the moment this will do. For the moment, winter, January is done, and eventually I'm going to have a full year's worth, and I can have a tree for the year covered in miniatures. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this is I wanted to just show you that you can make miniatures, make a miniature scene anywhere. As we go through some other ones I want to do, there will be more traditional miniatures in them. As I say, I've got some ideas. They're going to involve, some of them will involve some purchase pieces, because this might be a great way to show off that little bit that you bought that you had to have and you really don't know what to do with it. Do it like this, turn it into an ornament. Or just little things that you have to make, because we all have those things we have to make. Display them like this. Display them in some way that has meaning to you. And that's what this is. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. As I say, there's going to be a series of these. Irregular series of these. I'm not trying to do them every month. I just know that wouldn't work. way my brain works, that wouldn't work. But there will be more, and there will be more ordinary miniatures. Some 1/48 scale, some 12 scale. I'm not sure what it's going to be next. I haven't decided, but there will be more. So if you've enjoyed it, please like, comment and subscribe. You know the routine. It all helps the channel, keeps me out there, gets me promoted to other people, and gives me the incentive to actually keep making these videos, if I'm honest. Because if people have watched things, and I know people have watched it and know that they've enjoyed it, I want to make more. And also don't forget to ring that notification bell, because at the moment I still don't have a routine for my videos, but hopefully if I can get everything else a bit more organised, I can get the videos a bit more organised, and then you might even get more of them. We'll see. Not promising anything. But until next time, bye.